Stanford, UCLA, Berkeley. No doubt you've heard those names before. But how about Deep Springs? No? Well, you're not alone. Nestled in the eastern Sierra Nevada, Deep Springs may be the most unusual college in the state, if not the country. Before we could even go on campus, the student body had to vote us on. And that was just the beginning. Craig Miller has more.
If you visit the website for Deep Springs College or thumb through its brochure, you won't find pictures of stately buildings or lecture halls or even conventional classrooms. That's because Deep Springs College isn't conventional in any way.
Get a leg anyway! Brand? Okay. You got perpendicular to the back going like that. Okay. You're bisecting that angle. Okay. Okay, go. Hold it on. Okay, good.
A 4-hour drive from Los Angeles and from Las Vegas. It's so obscure, even residents of the nearest town have no idea what's going on here.
Supposedly in Bishop, they think that we're a school for boys who have killed their parents.
Whether it's the fact that all of us are gay, not true. Whether it's the fact that none of us bathe, a few of us do. It's understandable that people would think weird things like this because we are bizarre.
Eric Vandenbrink and Nathan Leamy are two of only 26 male students enrolled at Deep Springs, and none of them are paying a dime. The two-year college is financed through its endowment, alumni contributions, and profits from its cattle ranch. And that's not all that makes it unique.
A lot of things that you think of as classic college life aren't classic college life at Deep Springs. Especially, you look at the fact that we're single-sex, you look at the fact that we're not allowed to go off campus during term, you look at the fact that we're not allowed to drink during term. We have very limited contact with the outside world. You can't see a movie, you can't watch TV.
Go on, big fella. Okay. The guy on the front, it's his responsibility to make sure that everything gets done, and then to call for the iron.
All right.
Deep Springs was founded in 1917 by L.L. Nunn, a wealthy idealist who believed that college should prepare men for a life of service. And to Nunn, that meant more than just academics. Nobody knows this better than alum and college president Jack Newell.
Education at Deep Springs is based on 3 co-equal elements. We call them pillars. And one is the standard academic program, which here takes the dimensions of an honors program at another college or university.
Classes are tiny, and many students, including Eric, work with professors in independent study courses that they create themselves.
And the happiness I get hung up on. I have a sort of idea of what it means, and I think Kuhn has a sort of idea of what it means, but I think when people use it every day, they don't necessarily.
But it tends to be a function of personal freedom.
You think so?
Equal to that is the labor program, in which they're engaged in doing all the work of running the college and the ranch. And the third element is self-governance. L.L. Nunn set the college up in a way that provided the students with what he called beneficial ownership, by which he meant this college belongs to you, you're not paying any tuition, no fees, and you're expected to throw yourself into it heart and soul.
That means mandatory Friday night student body meetings. Students govern every aspect of their own affairs, from dorm life to the drug and alcohol policy, and love to debate everything.
And the first thing we have to discuss is the furniture on the smoking porch, because Miss Cosman thinks that this is really, really bad and is going to cause our dorm to burn down. She actually thinks that all of the wicker furniture everywhere on campus that's outside is a fire hazard.
I'd like to endorse, and I'd like to hear criticism from the student body about Mitch's idea of simply flame retardant, like on the couches. For $50, we can do it twice over and keep the couches out there. And
I would say that I would hope that Deep Springs would take away a sense of what it means to be a member of a community and to participate in a community and to participate in the political decisions made by a group of people.
In high school, I did a lot of student government, and I was continually disappointed by the fact that actions that we took were either leading to a dance or being ignored by administration. Here, it's a place where you can't be ignored by administration. The students say something, and whether it's not as followed, it's at least recognized. You're not paying tuition. You're paying with your labor. You're paying with your heart. You're putting yourself into the college, and it will put it back. And it's in that process of putting yourself into the college that you're really learning a lot of what you learn at Deep Springs.
Part of paying for their education means working a minimum of 20 hours a week. Eric is currently the college labor commissioner and meets with fellow students regularly to assign tasks.
Okay, so when you're done with that, why don't you come up and help us move brush? Okay, sweet.
Jobs range from cooking meals to milking cows to eliminating gophers.
The main gopher problem is that they come in from the desert and they start eating the roots of the alfalfa. Once they start doing that, it just lowers the productivity of the field. We've been trapping this field for probably 3 or 4 days. So we've gotten, not all of them, but most of them. Definitely had some gopher killing guilt at first. I'd never killed a mammal before 4 weeks ago. And first time that I got a live one, I kind of screamed and panicked and said, Noah, Noah, please kill this gopher for me. And Noah came over and stomped the gopher to death, and it was gone. But now it's kind of disturbing that death can become something that is routine. It seems as if it should be something that you have to think more about. But life on the farm, things die. That's
Students at Deep Springs aren't just geographically isolated. They also have a self-governed isolation policy that's been in effect since 1917. It limits off-campus trips and on-campus visitors.
Being isolated this much for this long has helped me to focus on my academic work and on my labor much better than I would be at State University X.
The downside is that Deep Springs is supposed to be training us to be servants to humanity, and some question how we can be learning to serve humanity when we don't see humanity. Other downsides, a lot of Deep Springers lose their social skills in their 2 years at Deep Springs, mainly because we don't interact with anyone besides each other.
If that was a real calf, you would have had it.
Deep Springs, I think, is especially attractive to students who are creative, many of them very bright, and coming out of high school somewhat bored by the experience they had there. Most of our students who come actually turn down chances to go to Ivy League schools, to University of Chicago and Stanford and the like, and the majority of them, after finishing 2 years at Deep Springs, those are the kinds of places that they transfer to.
Over the years, 90% of Deep Springers have been accepted by their first choice transfer university. And the top 3 choices have been Harvard, the University of Chicago, and Brown. The college counts congressmen and ambassadors among its alumni. But there are some problems at Deep Springs. Student body is overwhelmingly white, and not surprisingly, the boys don't always love the lack of female companionship.
A lot of people, alumni, current students, think that we should be still single sex, and a lot think that we should be co-ed. Personally, I feel as if Deep Springs pretty much needs to transfer to being co-ed. Co-education, I think, would add a lot to the diversity of Deep Springs. There are a lot of viewpoints which aren't really represented within our student body because we all are just a bunch of boys.
At some point there's going to be the right combination of student body, administration, and trustees, and it's going to happen. I think in some ways it'll be a sad day.
got it?
Still gotta go for the rope, too.
That's very true.
25 guys for 2 years is pretty small for a pretty long time, and I'm about ready to move on.
I'm looking forward to going to another school and meeting a lot of people, including a lot of girls. The monastic life has a certain appeal, but 2 years of monastic life, long time. Sorry for those monks.
Ready to enroll? You can contact a Deep Springs campus representative at 760-872-2000.